when we get any loan, whether it's single family or multifamily or commercial, there needs to be some sort of accountability for borrowing the money from the lender, and the lender wants a guarantee from the individual or entity that is borrowing the money, unless it is what's called a non-recourse loan, which means that the lender cannot go after you as a borrower unless, and there's a couple disclaimers. One is they call them bad boy carve-outs, unless the bad boy carve-outs or clauses are triggered, and a couple bad boy carve-outs or clauses would be gross negligence. Okay. So if the borrower just completely forsakes the property, pieces out, goes to another country and abandons it, then they can make the loan recourse, even though it's non-recourse, or fraud. If you're doing something illegal and you are caught doing the illegal activity, then the non-recourse can become recourse, and there are other technical things that make it a non-recourse recourse, but the reality is those are the two big ones that you'll hear about and that are probably triggered the most. But what Tim is asking about is, his question is, what do you typically do for the loan guarantor? So that question implies that he is not the loan guarantor, that he brings someone else in, and it's different if it's recourse versus non-recourse.
Okay.
Because if it's recourse, meaning they can go after the loan guarantor, and why you have a loan guarantor is you don't have the liquidity and or net worth to qualify for the loan. And that's a problem I had whenever I got started, and that's a problem that 95% of people have when they get started, is they don't have the money in their bank post funding to qualify for the liquidity and net worth requirement that the lender has. So what do you typically do for the loan guarantor? Well, if it's recourse, then you're going to give them more. If it's non-recourse, you're going to give them less. Because non-recourse, they have limited liability unless you neglect the property, gross neglect, or you commit fraud. So what we have done with our loan guarantors is we have given them equity in the general partnership, and or, depending on the deal, we have also given them a fee that's paid out on an annual basis based on the amount of the loan at that point in time.
Okay.
And that fee specifically, Tim, on a non-recourse loan is 0.25%. So if it is $1 million, let's just use round numbers. If it's $1 million loan balance, and they're guaranteeing it on a non-recourse loan, if they signed it as a guarantor on a non-recourse loan, then 1% of $1 million is
10 grand.
10 grand, and so $2,500 a year would be the fee. And let's just do quick math to make sure that's right. Yep, that's right. So it'd be $2,500 a year that the loan guarantor would pay, and so multiply that. If it's a $10 million loan, then it'd be $25,000 that they would receive every year for signing their name and on the loan documents. In addition, they might get equity in the deal. They might get, and this depends on you and how you negotiate, what the projected returns are for the deal, and how much you want to get the deal done and how many other options you have to guarantee the loan. But there, it could be any number of percentages from 5% to 10% to whatever. It just depends. Now that is with a non-recourse loan. We do not have any recourse loans, therefore I don't have any personal experience working with someone on a recourse basis. I can tell you though, just common sense is whatever I just said, probably double it at least.
Okay.
Because if it's if they're personally guaranteeing it, then there's more risk should something go wrong, and you'll just have to talk to them about what they're looking for. And I've told people about this approach and what you compensate a loan guarantor. And some people are like, wow, $25,000 for writing your name and submitting your financials on a non-recourse loan of $10 million, get $25,000 a year. That's amazing. Yes, but think about what they're risking, even though it's non-recourse and it's a very remote possibility. But think about what they're risking, $10 million potentially in return, which is $25,000 a year. I mean, risking
0.25%.
Yeah. But on a $10 million loan, that's $25K a year. Yeah. I would do it if I didn't do the syndications. I would be a loan guarantor, but I'd have to make sure I know the individuals really well, and I'd have to look at it on a project by project basis, because I do think it's a very good deal for high net worth investors or individuals to do a loan guarantee on a non-recourse loan and get free equity and also get free cash flow. When I say free, I mean you're exchanging your balance sheet for this, but at the same time there is risk involved, as with anything that we do in real estate, and I would look at it on a project by project basis. But it certainly is appealing to high net worth individuals, Tim, and the rest of the Best Ever listeners, and those are specific ways that you compensate them.